Hey, this is Greg Hawks again. This is another Sourcing in Real Life. And following a podcast that Dean DeCosta and I did, I had some questions about some Chrome extensions. So I wanted just to go through a brief overview on how I typically search for Chrome extensions, and also another scraper that I found recently that I thought was really interesting. It actually mirrors Kimono, and for those of you that have used Kimono in the past. So it's very interesting, and just by diving in a little bit, seems to work very similar to it. So the first thing to do if you're looking for a Chrome extension, whether it's something like automating things or something like an email finder, is I typically go to the Chrome store and see what I can find. So for instance, if I'm looking for something around, let's do an email finder, type in email finder. And a lot of times, if you just type in email finder, you'll find several of the ones that are out there. You can also click on extensions to refine your search. If you're looking for something like Boolean, you can enter the keyword Boolean. So any kind of search engine, and then Bool comes up, Hire Tool comes up, some of the ones that we've used. And I can typically tell if it's a good product based on the number of reviews. So I mean, Hire Tool has 62 reviews, 4.5 stars. That's probably a good tool to be using. Other times you might have to look specifically for a name. So Autoscroll is an example of a pagination. I can see that they've got 606 reviews, over 4 stars, probably a good tool to use. Some of these other ones, not so much. That's probably not the one that I'm looking for, even though it probably does something similar. Auto Pagerize is another auto scroller that I use, pagination one that I use. And when I was doing a search for these with just pagination, it wasn't pulling up the right extension. So sometimes you gotta look specifically for the name. Other times you can use keywords, and oftentimes you can put in something like web scraper extension, just do a straight Google search and find some other extensions that might be out there. And this is the instance that I'm going to be talking about, one that looks really similar to Kimono. They even have Kimono tagged here. It's called Grepsr. This is not one that I've typically seen out there. I think it's pretty new. I've already installed it. You'll have to install a Chrome extension, log in, create, register, create username, that sort of thing a lot of times. Once you have it installed, you'll see it either up here, or sometimes you've got to click, if you have a lot of extensions like I do, into more of the extensions here. So if they're active, they'll show up in this little bar here. So I have like Instant Data Scraper, I've got Toolkit for Facebook, several other ones, and the Grepsr is this G icon here. So the way this works, and I've been playing with it a little bit, is you go to your whatever search you're doing. So let me go back to the search I was doing. I'm just gonna go do this real quick because I was looking for this a while ago. So basically I'm looking for conference speakers and attendees in this tree. And so you can see you can look up these and see that, hey, they're speakers. I just did a very simple scrape of this with Grepsr. So basically what you have to do is, if you want to start the process, you have to click on this little G here, and that basically will bring up an interface. You'll see at the top of the screen, and I'm moving this around so you can kind of see the process. So now you have the interface over. So what you need to do is you need to click on what you want to scrape, and this automatically parse this. I've been doing this for some other websites, especially site searches, and it doesn't automatically pull everybody in, but in this case it does. So you might have to click into each one of these until it pulls up the whole list, that sort of thing. So it looks like I've got 100 items selected. So what I need to do is save selection, and I can name this as, let's just put heading, right? So I'm going to extract the text. So this drop down says, what do you want to extract? Do you want to extract the link, which is the href, the HTML, all this other stuff that I haven't really dove into that much? and then it saved it as one field. So like Kimono, you've got one field saved. Well, I want to make sure that I get the link to each entry. So again, I still have under the interface, click on this and save selection. I'm going to call this URL. I'm going to extract the href, which is another word for link. And I'm going to save the field. And now I have two fields, see? So I also want to pull in some of the results. So again, I'm in here. I can see the interface. As long as you're in the interface, you can just point and click. Save selection. I'm going to actually pull the text on this because when I pulled the URL earlier, the href, it only got me part of that. Well, see the ... that's going to be a problem. But for the most part, let me actually try this. Let me pull the text, just so I can see you. And I didn't name that one. And let's also pull in some details. Save selection. We'll call that details, so you can kind of see. Save field. I've got 4 fields here. Okay, so when I have most of the information that I want, so I'm going to click next. Does this page have pagination? No, not in this case. And this kind of gives you an idea of the fields that you're pulling in. So basically, like data miner, you're creating a recipe of sorts. You're setting up selectors, XPaths, that sort of thing. But it's more point and click, so it's really like Kimono. And I used to really like Kimono back in the day when it was one of the only scrapers around. So for those of you that are familiar with that, this type of process will look very familiar. Now, the other thing that's interesting is, do you want to go into the following links and capture additional fields? Not at this time, but this is definitely something I'm going to explore because it looks like it's got a click into each entry, which, I mean, basically you could click into profiles and pull in more information, like some of the web scraper and Octoparse tools out there. And does this page require a login? No, it does not require a login. So this is the JSON file, and as you can see, it's pulling in the heading, it's pulling in the URL. That's a complete URL, so that's good. The link and the details. So, but a lot of people will look at this and say, "What is this?" Well, this is kind of what the coders will pull from each of the different columns. But this is actually what we like to look at, the CSV file. Okay, this makes more sense to me because I'm not a coder or anything like that. So it gives you an example data of what we're pulling. I've got 4 columns. Only took me a couple minutes and some tinkering on my end yesterday and today. I'm going to click continue. That's a little bit different because you've got to set up a project folder. And you've got to create a report. You click start crawling, and what's going to do is it's going to crawl the data. It's going to pull in the information and send you an email. It looks like I've exceeded my limit of 3 reports as of today. So apparently you only have a limit of 3 reports. But you know what? Next month it starts pretty soon, so I'll probably be able to get away with it. So definitely, if you have a big list like this, it'd be really cool to pull all this information in. This is the same scrape that I just did. Same sort of thing: heading, URL, link, and the details. So it looks like it's a freemium tool, not a completely paid tool, but just in general, I mean, there's a lot of potential here, and I expect to, I'll definitely be diving into this more and seeing what other functionality can come with it, because I mean, pricing is $20 a month. That's not bad. not bad for a pay tool, and especially with some of the additional functionality that might be possible. I'm very interested to see what we can do. So hopefully that helps you find Chrome extensions. Hopefully that helps you find another Kimono-based web scraper that seems to work and it has some functionality that we may not have explored, but definitely needs to be. So I wanted to share that because I was nerding out here yesterday. I'm like, what is this thing? This looks exactly like Kimono. And I know that a lot of people have a very good comfort level with that. So again, hopefully that helps. Please share and subscribe. If you have any questions, comment down below, and I'll continue to keep doing these videos. Thanks again.